Today we're breaking down two upcoming characters, Varesa and Skirk. We've got some new information and speculations and confirmed information on their skills, roles and best builds. So if you're trying to decide who to save your Primogems for, who to pull for, then stick around for the full breakdown. I'm doing a free 16,000 Primogem giveaway if you want to click the top link in the description below to enter. So who is Varesa? So if you don't know, Varesa is a Electro Catalyst user with a unique plunging attack focused playstyle. She's a DPS unit that thrives on fast combos and electro fused attacks. Let's get into some of her abilities and skills. So her elemental skill is called Night Soul Kick. Varesa performs a swift upward kick, dealing electro damage and launching enemies into the air. Grants her a stack of Night Soul. And at 2 stacks of Night Soul, she enters a Fiery Passion state, which boosts her electro damage significantly. Her elemental burst, she leaps into the air and executes a devastating drop kick, causing AoE electro damage. And after landing, she immediately enters that Fiery Passion state with full stacks. If activated while already in Fiery Passion, her electro damage gets another additional boost. Her constellations, C1 reduces the cooldown of her elemental skill by 1 second, C2 extends the duration of Fiery Passion by 3 seconds, and C6, while in her Fiery Passion state, Varesa attacks ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. So let's talk about some of Varesa's strengths. She has unique plunging attack playstyle, which is rare for a Catalyst user. This is why she's gonna change the whole entire electro scene and how they work. She's a very strong electro burst potential, especially at C6, but regardless, she still sort of is. Good uptime on electro reactions, great for teams that use Aggravate or Overload. Synergies well with supports who increase plunging attack damage like Fazuran or Bene. Let's talk about some of her weaknesses. So she does need proper energy management. She may require a electro battery to fuel her. Fiery Passion uptime is limited, so she needs C2 or energy recharge investment. And of course, this is obvious, but she may struggle against enemies that will completely resist electro. So she's very good if you want a quick swap DPS character. She's very aggressive and good overload comp, but she might not be ideal for AoE DPS focus. If you didn't know, also Varesa is set to arrive in version 5.5. Okay, let's now talk about Skirk. So Skirk is said to be a cryo sword user with a high burst damage playstyle. We've seen many characters like this. She's an assassin-like DPS built to eliminate enemies quickly with hard-hitting abilities. She's also Child's mentor, so she literally taught Child all his ways. Now, I do have some sort of speculated skills, which might not even be confirmed, but I thought I'd get into it anyway. So her passive is called Blood Frenzy. Apparently, it lands a critical hit that grants Skirk a lifesteal effect, and that stacks an attack buff max 3 stacks. At max stacks, her next attack ignores 10% of enemy defense. Skill is called Crimson Dance. Her multi-hit attack striking enemies 3 times at random. If all crits hit, she gets an extra turn, allowing her for back-to-back damage. And if this is true, that would be an absolutely cool mechanic. We've never seen anything like that. The ultimate is called Death Lotus. Massive single target cryo nuke with a built-in 20% crit rate boost. It ignores damage reduction effects, so it counters super tanky enemies. And if she manages to get the kill in one shot, she gets a barrier shield. Now, some of this information is definitely a lot more speculative. Some of it might be close to what may become. We do know that she's going to be a nuke character and cryo and sword, most likely. So Skirk strengths, if you want insane burst damage, definitely go for her. She can one-shot enemies. Self-sustain mechanics. Very good for short fights if you just want to like get massive nuke damage in. And low cooldowns, meaning constantly high DPS. The weaknesses may involve fall-offs in long fights because she needs to end battles quickly. And weak versus a massive crowd of enemies. If she gets stunned or slowed, she can lose momentum. So she's best in burst teams and quick boss fights, maybe not ideal for sustained based fights and AoE heavy teams. She's also set to release in 5.7 alongside a new 4-star character, which we don't know who is yet. So the big final verdict, who should you pull for? And honestly, it depends on your team and playstyle. If you want a unique Electro DPS with strong plunging attacks, Varesa is your best bet. And aggression as well, she's gonna deal damage. If you want a cryo DPS that specializes in fast kills and high burst damage and a nuke sort of character, Skirk is definitely going to be better for you. Building a aggressive / overload team, Varesa fits very well. If you want a character who could possibly solo enemies quickly, Skirk is definitely the one for you. And if you're looking for a long-term supporting unit, I would say Varesa has more synergy compared to Skirk, because we've seen in the past these type characters come out, they get overtaken eventually by all of the new nuke, electro, hydro, pyro characters coming out. So now it's actually up to you to decide. It's completely up to you based on the information I've given you on who you want to pull for. So that wraps up the Varesa versus Skirk breakdown. Hopefully this information helps you decide who to pull for. Please let me know in the comments who you are pulling for. Do you think Skirk's burst damage will outshine Varesa's electro combos? And of course, please don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on all notifications so you never miss any Genshin news. And I'll see you all in the next one.